As I was telling you, Daniel, I have noticed that Daniel has lowered down his effective filter because of the confidence he has gained in the classes. I have also noticed that he regarding his cognitive styles, he's very particular. He's analytical. His learning process probably is inductive. He focuses a lot on form, although I don't highlight it a lot. He's always asking and paying attention to vocabulary, to the structures, how the questions are built, and he asks a lot of questions about the vocabulary. I used to read stories at the beginning of the classes, and he's always asking, teacher, what is garden, what is boss, what is this, what is that. He wants to know everything, and he keeps list of vocabulary to study. And he actually told me that his goal is to learn at least five different words every day. So I advise him to not to learn like non-contextualized words, but words that we have studied in class or that we have read in the story, so that it makes more sense for him and that is more meaningful. So I think he's this kind of a student whose cognitive style is very focused on form, very analytical, and that would say it corresponds to adults learning. And well, regarding Luisa, she's this kind of a student who's very disciplined. She's also very analytical and inductive. She focuses a lot on form. She asks questions about the structure of the of the questions, for example, or answers. And it seems that she needs to write everything before speaking, right? We had an activity the previous class, which was like a role play where they had to ask and answer questions about personal information in pairs, and she didn't practice orally until she had all the questions written. She needed to write in order to feel herself confident to speak. But when they had to go in front, she was able to do it spontaneously. Didn't. She actually didn't take her notebook. She just asked questions spontaneously. Of course, she had some pronunciation problems, but in general, she made an effort to be spontaneous in her speech. And also, I noticed in that conversation they had that she has gone through this developmental process of U shape, because in the first classes we have been practicing this expression, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, nice to meet you too. And I know she knows it, but in her conversation, she went through this process of, she said first, nice to meet you too. And then her classmate like was kind of lost because she didn't know what to answer, because she said nice to meet you too. But then she realized she made a mistake, and then she said, ah, no, nice to meet you. And the other classmates say, yeah, okay, nice to meet you too. So she could go to this UTI process. First of all, she knew the structure, the expression, nice to meet you. But then she said, nice to meet you too. But then she went back to the correct expression, which was nice to meet you, because she was the first to say. And uh, I have also noticed that Daniel, for example, asked this or made these associations regarding grammar, because, for example, once we were studying like questions with pronouns his, her, your, what's your name, what's his name, what is his nationality, what is her nationality if it is a woman and a man. And so Daniel was like, okay, teacher, so I got it. If the question is with his, so you answer with his. For example, what's his name? So you answer his name is Carlos, for example. And so he makes these associations, grammar associations, in order um, to understand or to get the structure. which is something that caught my attention too. Well, finally, um, let's talk a little bit here their technological skills. Once I took them to the computer's room, and I sent them an email with the activities they had to develop that day. And then Luisa and Daniel behaved totally different because Luisa was very independent. It was a very independent learner. She opened the mail, she read the instructions, she didn't ask a question about how to develop the activities. She did them. She was very concentrated and she was very accurate, in fact. But Daniel had problems with these technological things. He was not able to access to his mail because he said that he had the mail in his smartphone and that he doesn't have to remember the password every time he's signing in. And so he had problems accessing his email, but then when he could do it, he didn't know what to do. He took a long time, and by the end of the class he could only develop one of the activities, and there were like five. So I could notice that he can have a little bit a little problems with some problems, sorry, with these technological devices, and probably working autonomously because he was asking questions. Teacher, is it okay? Am I doing it okay? Or he was with his classmate next to him asking questions and asking for confirmation and all that. Well, and I wanted to interview them because I wanted to confirm some of my assumptions and I wanted to know a little bit more about them. And so we had an interview, a short interview, where I asked questions such as the strategies they use outside the class, and also the way they like to work in classes, how they have felt during this process, and experience their background knowledge they have and the experience they have learning the language. And also I asked them like which is the most difficult thing for them in the English classes. Well, and they told me, Luisa and Daniel told me that they are very motivated in the classes. They felt they have learned a lot in this process. That Daniel sometimes has felt frustrated because he noticed that some other students are more skillful than him or that they get it easily and that he takes more time, but he thinks he has gained a lot of confidence and that he has progressed a lot too. And they mentioned strategies and activities they do outside, like Duolingo. They review, check their notes before coming to classes. They listen to music in English, both of them, and they also, just in case they have to practice for an oral test or something, they go to the dictionary and look for the pronunciation of the words. And then Luisa mentioned that she's happy in these classes because the methodology is different, and I asked her what different means for her, and she said that it's not very focused on grammar, that is more communicative, they can talk more, and that is not as focused on structures or the verb to be, which is what she was used to in the university where she studied. And also they mentioned they like to work with someone else because they can have the same doubts and solve the doubts, and also because uh, their classmates can know an answer they don't know, and because of the interaction they have. um, well, it was surprising to me that Luisa told me that she had the experience of 10 courses, English courses at her university. I thought she was not very experienced, but she said they were virtual courses and that she didn't notice a lot of progress with these courses. That she just did it like a part of the requirement for getting graduated. And Daniel, on the contrary, he said, "No, this is my first time. I have no experience with this, and everything for me is new, but I really love that you, teacher, made us feel very confident in the class. And I have noticed I have learned, and I have to compare myself with myself with me, because at the very beginning I didn't know much, and now I know much more. And well, that's basically what they told me about their process, and what I have observed in these case studies. And well, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much.